Hey y'all, it's your girl, Britween. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. I'm exhausted. I did CPR at school today. So, as the title says, today I'll be discussing the true story behind the Amityville Horror House, haunted house, whatever. He's totally fine. This whole thing started out because Ronald DeFeo Jr. killed both of his parents, his two brothers, and his two sisters.
The murders took place in November of 1974. 6 rifle shots from the .36 caliber Marlin rifle were not heard by either neighbor on either side. No one heard the rifle shots. The murders were discovered the next day when the son that had committed the murders, Ronald DeFeo, came back to the house with some friends.
On February 13th, 1976, George Lutz and his wife Kathleen had urgently left their home after only a month living there. In fact, I believe in one of the documentaries I watched, George said that they were only there for like 28 days.
We stayed there 28 days. It seems like Evil One because we lost our house. Big deal. It took a while to get to the big deal part. It's only a house. We got to live. People before us didn't. People after us had life much worse. They lived there. It's only a house. This is looking down the side. The garage is there, and attached to the garage is the boathouse where we kept our boat. Over the time we were in the house, I would wake up in the middle of the night, sometime between 3 and 3:30, usually sometime around 3:15. And often I would check on the kids or check on the doors, whatever, just walk around. And the boathouse door, the side door, would be open. Dr. Tenhouse levitated about 2 feet off the ground when he first walked in the house. It's on tape.
It was claimed that they left their house so unexpectedly because it was haunted. And the reason why this was one, because of the murder that happened a year before they moved in.
The murders that had taken place in the house was a year before we had moved into the house and bought it.
Plus, they kept saying this is their dream home.
When Kathy first walked into that house, in that foyer, her whole face lit up. Biggest smile you could imagine. She was home. This was where she wanted to live. The craftsmanship, the workmanship, the quality of the house, it was everything we were looking for in a house. And we had looked at a lot of houses, and this was it for her. She really liked this.
George and Kathleen had several press conferences between this time and when they passed away. And during one of the press conferences, George had said a very strong force drove the couple away. He also said there were no human shapes, flying objects, wailing sounds, or moving furniture.
Hey, stop your recording real quick. I'll let you tag you.
Why?
Because it's important.
I'll be right back.
It really puts life into perspective.
Okay, Toto. He also clarified that the reason they left so abruptly was due to concerns about their safety. The Newsday writer wrote, "Lutz did say he would not spend another night in that house if asked to do so by researchers, but he also said he's not planning to sell it right now."
I would do it again if I was given the option. No, I wouldn't push that button, I don't think. I would do just about anything not to go through that again.
The actual murder happened on November 13th, 1974. When the bodies were discovered, Ron Jr., so weird because my dad's name is Ron Jr., told the police that the house was locked and he found them around 6 p.m. He claimed he went to a bar that was right down the street from the house. The man at the bar said he was very hysterical when he arrived. Ron Jr. and the man went back to the house, which was when the police were contacted because the men that Ron brought to the house didn't believe that Ron was completely innocent like he claimed to be. 2 days after the bodies were found, Ron Jr. was charged with 6 second-degree murder charges, which he wasn't actually charged. I don't know the name of it. I'm kind of stupid, but that's what charges were supposed to be put against him. He actually got charged at a later date. One reason why the court wanted him to be charged with 6 second-degree murders is because the police had suspected that he killed his family for insurance purposes, seeing as how there was a life insurance policy. I believe it was a life insurance policy for $200,000. His attorney kept saying, "Hey, this dude is insane." His attorney was trying to claim insanity as his reason for killing his whole entire family. They had also brought Ron Sr. into the mix and said that he was very abusive to Ron Jr. So the attorney hired a psychiatrist who had claimed that yes, he was insane, and when he killed his family, he was in a state of paranoid psychosis. But then, on the flip side, the prosecution also hired a psychiatrist who agreed that he did have some type of mental illness. There was no doubt there. However, they don't think he was in a state of paranoid psychosis. They think that he was 100% aware of what he did. He was 100% coherent. He had no type of being in another state of mind type of thing. He knew exactly what he was doing. The jury ended up going based off of the prosecutor's psychiatrist, and he was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences in prison. So then the Lutzes come out with their story saying like, hey, there was this unforeseen thing, some kind of phenomenon that took us out of our house, yada 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 yada. So then Ron's attorney tried to reopen the case by saying that the evil force in the house was the reason why he went insane and killed his whole entire family. Going back to the actual house itself, it was actually empty for 14 months after the Lutzes left. On April 1st, 1977, the Cromartie family moved into the house. Their names were Jim and Barbara, and they kept telling the press that they never saw anything unusual. In fact, they were more concerned with the paranormal tourists and everyone else that kept coming to their house and knocking on the door at all hours of the day or night.
It seems like Evil won because we lost our house. Big deal. It took a while to get to the big deal part. It's only a house. We got to live. People before us didn't. People after us had life much worse. They lived there. It's only a house.
Because of all of this and the tourists not respecting the property of the house, the Cromarties ended up trying to sue the Lutzes for $1.1 million in damages for fraud. The suit ended up being settled in 1982, and it's an undisclosed 6-figure sum. Around this time, Ron's attorney came back into the picture, and he tried saying that there was actual things happening in the house. However, he and the Lutzes had formulated this story and over-exaggerated actual supernatural events that happened in the house while he was there. He tried saying that the Lutzes had been lying. However, the only people who remained 100% positive that these events actually happened were the Lutzes themselves. Kathy Lutz died in 2004 and George died in 2006, but before George died, he did a ton of different documentaries and press conferences and interviews on this house, which had then slowly reopened the haunting, and it got more eyes on it. To this day, Ron Jr. is still in jail. I actually don't think he's going to be getting out ever. That was just a small little snippet of the true story behind the Amityville Horror. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you want me to do more videos like this, then comment a movie down below, or a book. I don't really care which one. Either or is fine. Also, I forgot to mention, today is day 3 of Britween. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And also, don't forget to click that little bell right next to the subscribe button, because that will notify you whenever I upload, so you never miss when I upload. Yay! I love everyone. You're all beautiful. Have a fantastic day. I shall see you tomorrow. Actually, we will be seeing me tomorrow, because I keep seeing you. Although I wish I could.